Whether it's a cross-country trip or a quick weekend escape, you don't leave home without luggage. And with leather, the difference between ordinary and premium shows up fast once real life hits. Not all leather is built for travel. Chrome tanned hide is naturally more water resistant, so moisture beads up instead of soaking in. Shoes push leather even further. The upper is pulled over a last. That's when the shape is born. Then the sole is pressed on to lock everything in. So where does that strength begin? Every leather product starts with a surface. Up close, the grain looks like a landscape built for years of wear. Before the glamour, there's sorting. Teams check hides for clean structure, even thickness, and usable area. The texture you love isn't an accident. It's engineered with chemistry, pressure, and controlled time. Behind this glass is the loudest part of the story. Those drums are where raw hide starts turning into leather. The drum doesn't look dramatic, but it does heavy work. Rotation keeps every surface exposed, so treatment stays even. And this is the factory's promise. Cut, stitch, shape. One material becomes two products, bags and shoes. Everything arrives as stacked hides, handled carefully to prevent damage. One deep scratch here becomes a permanent flaw later. First comes soaking, basically rehydration. It brings the hide back to a workable state after curing and transport. You can feel it changing. The stiffness eases, the fibers relax, and the hide behaves like material again. Next is tougher cleaning, often liming and dehairing, removing what the factory doesn't need. What matters here is control. Too aggressive, and the hide weakens. Too gentle, and contamination stays trapped inside. Fleshing is precision. The machine strips away extra tissue, so tanning stays even, and drying stays clean. Rinsing looks simple, but it's a reset. It clears residues, so the next chemistry step behaves predictably. Now the hide is ready for tanning. Valves, dosing lines, timing. This is where consistency gets locked in. Tanning is the turning point. The hide stops being perishable. Fibers stabilize, so the material resists rot and stays supple. That wet blue look is a classic milestone, proof the hide has crossed into leather, not raw skin anymore. Then water is squeezed out, because leather can't finish properly while it's carrying extra moisture. Dyeing isn't just surface color. The goal is penetration, so the tone stays rich, even when leather flexes or scratches. This bend test is quick but revealing. If the color holds through the cross-section, you know the drum work was right. Drying brings stability. Done well, it prevents warping and prepares the surface for finishing and polish. Splitting is a practical decision. One thick hide becomes two layers, and the best layer is saved for premium goods. Look at the edge. This is why top grain matters. Tighter structure, smoother face, stronger long-term wear. Shaving fine-tunes thickness. Even small variation changes how the leather folds, stitches, and holds shape. Softening is about feel, but also performance. Supple leather forms better, creases cleaner, and looks more expensive. Buffing changes personality. Smooth can become velvety, and the surface starts catching light in a softer way. Finishing adds protection and a controlled look. It balances durability with the exact shape the brand wants. Grading is ruthless, and it should be. Premium goods come from premium sections, not wishful thinking. Now the tannery stage is done. From here on, the factory stops making leather and starts making products. Welcome to the leather goods floor. The air feels different, less wet, more precise, like a workshop inside a factory. This nesting layout is about efficiency. Patterns are placed to reduce waste because leather is expensive and irregular. CNC or laser cutting is unforgiving. It follows the plan exactly, so clean planning becomes clean parts. Die cutting does it in one heavy punch. Same goal, repeatable shape with zero drift. These stacks look calm, but they represent the whole bag. If one panel is off, the bag will never sit square. Skiving is a quiet luxury secret. Thin edges fold flatter, stitch smoother, and avoid bulky corners. Reinforcement gives structure. Foam and inserts help the bag keep volume, even after years of open and close. Pressing sets geometry. You're training leather to hold a clean line in a way fabric never could. Heavy-duty sewing is where strength is born. Dense stitches, strong thread, turn panels into one load-bearing body. Zippers are installed like a measurement, not decoration. If alignment is off, the user feels it instantly. Hardware changes everything. Rivets and buckles add strength, but only if holes are punched clean and set with pressure. Watch the strap line. It's repetitive, but repetition is quality. The same fold, the same stitch, every time. Edge painting makes leather look finished, not raw. That glossy line is both a seal and a design detail. Curing gives the edge time to settle. Rush this step, and cracking shows up later, especially at stress points. Between coats, the edge is refined again. Slow work, but it's why high-end bags feel smooth everywhere. A hot stamp can be subtle but powerful. Even a small mark shows heat control and clean pressure. Now the bag turns three-dimensional. Lining, corners, internal shapes turn flat panels into a real object. Final inspection is the last chance to catch tiny issues, uneven stitches, rough edges, hardware not sitting flush. Packaging is quiet and careful. The bag is protected from dust, rubbing, and pressure before it reaches the customer. Now we shift to shoes, where leather has a harder job. It has to wrap a form, hold it, and stay comfortable. Upper cutting is about mapping. Skilled workers follow grain direction, deciding what belongs on toes, sides, and heels. Closing means assembling the upper. Many small pieces become one shell, with seams placed where they can flex without failing. Reinforcements shape the heel and stabilize the back. Without them, the shoe collapses and loses its silhouette. The last is the blueprint. Every size and style starts here because leather needs a body to follow. This lasting pull is the hero moment. Metal pincers stretch the upper tight over the last, forcing leather into a true 3D shape. Heat and steam help the leather relax into position, shaping through controlled softness, not brute force. The heel area is corrected by hand because machines can't feel micro-wrinkles the way humans can. Trimming cleans the underside, leave excess material, and you get lumps, weak bonding, and discomfort underfoot. Cementing prep is about even coverage. Adhesive must be consistent, or the sole fails where glue thins out. Sole pressing looks simple, but alignment is critical. If the outsole lands millimeters off, the shoe will walk wrong. Edge trimming is the cleanup pass. It makes the outsole look intentional, not just attached. Some lines use welting for durability. A welt adds a stitched structure, easier to repair and easier to re-sole. That cavity fill is comfort engineering. It smooths the inside space, supports the foot, and keeps the shoe stable. Sanding removes rough transitions. It's not glamour work, but it makes the profile look clean. Burnishing is shine with discipline. Friction becomes polish, smoothing the edge until it reflects light evenly. When the last comes out, the shoe stands on its own. This is where shape holds or it doesn't. Conditioning deepens color and protects the surface. You can see the leather wake up as the finish evens out. Lacing is a functional test. It shows eyelet alignment and whether the upper pulls evenly across the tongue. Flex testing is where truth shows up. If materials and bonding are right, the shoe bends without separation. Final inspection is a quiet ritual. Symmetry, stitch lines, edge quality, and the feel of the leather. Packaging protects shape. Tissue and inserts prevent creasing, so the shoe arrives like it did on the line. Logistics is the hidden half of manufacturing. A perfect product is still a failure if it gets crushed in transport. These scans are traceability. The factory tracks batches, checks seals, because distribution errors are expensive. Loading is the final handoff. Once a pallet enters the truck, factory control ends and the world takes over. And here's the payoff. One material, two outcomes, a structured bag, and a shaped shoe built from the same craft. Even the offcuts tell a story. Waste is sorted, reused, or recycled because efficiency is part of modern manufacturing. That's the full journey, from tannery drums to finished goods. If you want, next we can compare premium build choices and what they change in real life.